Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about how you should be running your OFM agency and basically the two different types. So at the end I'm going to talk about obviously like what I do and what I think is better. Um, but yeah, so first type is working with a lot of creators, usually like 15 plus. Um, so with this, obviously it's usually salary creators, but not always. So the positives of this is you don't need to worry about impressing the creators as much. Obviously, like there's mainly salary, so they can't really see how much you're making, whether it's a low amount or a big amount. Um, so you don't really have to worry about that. Like with percentage models, if you sign one, usually if they're not impressed within like 2 to 3 months, they'll probably leave you, and you've sort of just wasted your time. Second thing is don't need to rely on one or few models to reach high numbers. So obviously, if you only have like one model, maybe two models, you're sort of relying on just those two models to you know make you all the money in your agency. Whereas with this, you have a lot more different options of which ones might make more money than others. Next one is your goal is usually only for each model to make about 5 to 15K a month. So pretty much with this, it means it's quite a bit easier to reach higher numbers in my opinion because you're not focusing on making each model 100K a month. You're focusing on making them a lower amount, and you can just keep doing that on repeat. So like if you have 10 models and 5K a month, that's already 50K a month. If one or two models leave, it doesn't affect your revenue as much. So obviously, like I said, your goal's up for a lower amount, which means let's say you're making 50K a month with 10 models, and one leaves you less than 5K. Obviously, it's a loss, but it's not a massive loss. Whereas if you had one model making 50K a month and she leaves you, then that's literally all your money gone. Negatives is a lot more to handle and higher cost of marketing, team management, etc. So yeah, obviously it's a lot more to handle. Um, having like 15 models, for example, it's not easy to manage, and it can obviously cost more because you have more VAs that need to run things, right? Um, but overall, type one is pretty good. Pretty easy as well. So obviously, like getting them all to like 5K a month is not difficult. Next thing is type two. Working with less creators, around 1 to 5 usually. So with this one, the positives are, first of all, you focus more on less creators, so it becomes easier to scale, um, less to handle. Once you have a team there, um, there's not much a lot to do. Sorry, I just read something that's by accident. Um, Focusing on less creators can make you more money in the long run. So this is one of the main things I'd say is like, if you focus on just one or two models, in the long run, if you let's say maybe know them in real life as well, they could potentially make you a lot more money than having like 10 mils, all in like 5 or 10K a month even. But that's not in all cases, right? Next thing is less cost for marketing, team management, etc. So obviously, if you only got one or two models, let's say you're doing Reddit and Instagram Reels for them, it's going to cost you less money to have a team for them and to handle all of that than it would be to do like, 10 models, for example, or 15 models, whatever. No, the negative of this is if one or two models leave, it can affect your revenue highly. So like I said earlier, if one model's making you 30K a month and she leaves you, that's going to obviously affect your revenue by quite a lot. Um, and obviously that would be a pretty big issue. And these things can happen, models sometimes can make a lot, but then they might just change for no reason. They might decide, you know what, this agency is not for me. I want to go somewhere else, blah, blah. These things do happen. Next thing is, unless she's salary, if you don't scale her fast, she won't be happy and could leave early on. So, like I said earlier, with type 1, usually with this one, with this type, unless she's salary, like I said, a lot of the time, if you're a newer agency or you don't have that much skill, and you can't scale more as fast, then they probably will leave you eventually within like the first 3 months. So, it can be a bit of an issue as well. Um, Now, last thing is relying on less creators to make a lot of money. So obviously, like I said here, focusing on less can make you more money, but at the same time, if you don't know what you're doing to make a model reach like 100K a month, then relying on less creators can also be a chance of just being stuck on like 10K a month forever. Which obviously is better than nothing, but if you have big goals, 10K a month's not that crazy, right? So finally, what do I do and what do I think is better? So what I do is sort of a mix. I mainly do type 1, but I do also have like my main USA models that make the most money and I focus on scaling them. But then the rest of our models are all salary creators that, I sort of just try to get them to like 10 to 20K a month. Once they reach that, I'll automate with my team and then I'll move on to the next. But then I do also have three like USA, well, two USA and one UK girl that is on percentage that, makes a bit more money than the average, model that I have here. So yeah, I sort of do a mix of both, but out of these two types, what I think is better is going to be type 1, because even though it can be more to handle and potentially higher cost, you're not relying on a few models to make you higher numbers, and you only have to reach like 5 to 15K, which is a lot easier than reaching like 100K. You can easily repeat 5K a month 10 times to make 50K a month than to make one girl 100K a month for like 50K a month. So that's the way I sort of look at it. And yeah, obviously, everyone has their own different strategies for marketing, all that stuff. But the way I do things, I think type 1 is going to be easier. And yeah, so hopefully, that helps you guys kind of decide what you're going to do with your agency if you've not started yet, or if you're a beginner. Hopefully that makes you decide a bit faster as well. But yeah, thanks for joining. I've got a free Telegram. Make sure you just join that. It will be in the description. I'll see you guys there.